Hello and Happy New Year! After a really nice break with my family and friends, I'm excited to be back, and I'm looking forward to another year of teaching and podcasting. As always, I like to remind listeners that you can access an annotated transcript for this episode and find information about online English lessons on my website, jackieteachesenglish.com. So, if you are interested in improving your English in 2026, I'd love to help you. So I love New Year's. I love taking the time to reflect on the previous year and to mull over ways that my life can be even better in the following one. If you mull over something, it means that you think about something carefully and over a period of time. So I like to mull over my achievements in 2025, the highs and the lows, and to set myself resolutions for the year ahead. I also like taking the time to celebrate the year that was 2025 and to consider its importance in the trajectory of human existence. I know, deep, right? No, honestly, I'm not that deep. But I was curious to find out what the top Google searches of 2025 were in the United States. It may seem silly at first, but I think you can tell a lot about a society based on their Google searches. What were people interested in? What were they worried about? What were the headlines in the news? And I thought it would be fun to share some of my findings with you, my dear English learners, as a fun way to wrap up 2025, say goodbye to it, and move into 2026. Without further ado, let's dive in. In 10th place of the top Google searches of 2025, we have the word tariffs. Ah, yes, tariffs. Remember when President Trump sent the US and international economies into a tailspin after announcing tariffs on imports from almost all countries, even one where only penguins live? A tailspin is when an aircraft spins in the air and loses control, and it can be used as a metaphor here to mean to become increasingly chaotic and out of control. That was fun. Of course, it isn't over. As I prepare this episode, we are still waiting to hear the Supreme Court's decision on the legality of Trump's tariffs. So watch this space. I'm afraid the word tariffs may still be with us in 2026. Number 9 was the FIFA Club World Cup that took place over the summer. Even though Americans are all about the NFL and American football, clearly a lot of us are still interested in soccer. It also helped that the USA hosted the tournament. In 8th place, we have government shutdown, another fun period of uncertainty for many Americans that ran from October 1st through November 12th last year. This was the longest government shutdown in history that lasted 43 days. Why did it happen? In the United States political system, both chambers of Congress must approve a spending plan to send to the president for it to become law. And to summarize, they couldn't agree. The fallout led to around 1.4 million federal employees to go without a salary for weeks, suspended food and aid to many low-income families, and caused huge delays for airline passengers. We hadn't had a government shutdown in 7 years, so fingers crossed this won't reoccur in 2026. Coming up in 7th place was the term DeepSeek, the Chinese artificial intelligence company that made headlines worldwide after it flew straight to the top of the app download charts and caused US tech stocks to plummet. To plummet means to fall or drop at a high speed. In the AI tech race that we've all witnessed, this was the first time that investors had to consider whether the US tech industry would always be in the lead, and it served as a wake-up call for US companies. The term a wake-up call was originally for a service that hotels provided, where you could ask for the receptionist to call your room at a specific time to wake you up. This was long before we all had smartphones and alarms we could set ourselves. Now, the term can mean a shocking situation that changes the way you think or behave. It wakes you up and makes you want to take action. The advent of DeepSeek was certainly a wake-up call for US tech companies, They learned they can't rest on their laurels as they have international competition. And last expression before we move on, if you rest on your laurels, it means that you are satisfied with what you have already done or achieved, and you don't make any further effort. In sixth place, we have the name Zohran Mamdani, who was just sworn in as the mayor of New York on January 1st, 2026. Why was he such a searched name across the US? He made history by being New York City's first Muslim and South Asian mayor, but also because he is widely seen as a champion to challenge the policies of President Trump. His campaigning style also attracted attention. He managed to bring New Yorkers out of political apathy. Apathy means not caring, a lack of interest. And he brought a new kind of energy to the city with his very personal and community-centered campaign. Now that he has taken office, the nation will be watching his political career closely. Now, in fifth place, we have the one big, beautiful Bill Act. Honestly, a name so stupid that only President Trump could have come up with it, in my opinion. It is basically just a law that included a lot of different provisions. Some of the key items and hotly debated issues of the bill include huge cuts to Medicaid, which is a healthcare program that millions of disabled and low-income Americans rely on. There were also cuts to food benefits, but an increase in, surprise, surprise, military and border protection spending. In fourth place, we have the iPhone 17. I'm not sure what I can say about this, except people really love their phones. In third place, we have Labubu. You know, that really creepy collectible plush toy from Hong Kong. Whether you think they are weirdly cute or just ugly, there is no denying that they have become a global sensation. The signature look is the pointy ears, big eyes, and a mischievous grin with sharp teeth showing. You'd be forgiven for asking yourself, wait, is this a toy? I think this is such a searched item on Google because people are really stumped as to why there is such an obsession around these little toys. If you are stumped, it means that you are completely confused or baffled. You can't find the answer to a problem or question. As with many things, this may be a passing fad, just like Beanie Babies were in the 90s, but only time will tell. Now, I'm very excited to share with you what made the second most popular Google search in 2025. Maybe you've seen it on Netflix, a show about girl power, friendship, K-pop music, and fighting demons. That's right, I'm talking about K-pop Demon Hunters. K-pop Demon Hunters was the second most searched term in the United States in 2025. Featuring genuinely catchy music, fantastic animation, and the beautiful backdrop of Korean pop culture, this show took the world by storm last year, myself included. To take something by storm is an idiom that means to achieve sudden and overwhelming popularity with that place or group of people. And the funny thing is, the popularity and success of the show actually came as a huge surprise to the creators. I don't think anyone predicted just how big it was going to become. Apparently, the top Halloween costume for little girls all across the US, and many other countries as a matter of fact, was the main character, Rumi, with her iconic long purple braid. Anyways, if you haven't watched it yet, I actually highly recommend it. It was kind of a big deal in 2025, clearly. And finally, we have reached the top search of 2025. I'm afraid we're ending on a sad note on our list, as more people searched the name Charlie Kirk than anything else in 2025. He was a right-wing political activist and conservative influencer who was assassinated on September 10th. Regardless of the many different political views in the country, his assassination shocked the nation and was horrific. The murder of Charlie Kirk laid bare the broken and hate-filled political divide of the nation and once more brought into question the country's gun laws. I know you will agree with me when I say that I truly hope to live in a world where people can disagree about politics without the fear of being killed, threatened, or verbally abused. So there you have it. Those were the top 10 Google searches in the United States for the year 2025. There was, of course, a lot of interest in politics as we experienced the first year of President Trump's second term. There was certainly a lot of political and economic uncertainty, and that was reflected in people's search history. But it's nice to see that along with the big, heavy stuff, Americans also really cared about sport, technology, weird trends, and, of course, K-pop demon hunters. And in an attempt to lighten the mood and leave you with a bit of humor, there were many searches that started with, "Why do kids say?" For example, the top one was, "Why do kids say 67?" Honestly, no idea. But this weird trend to shout 67 at home and in class has been the bane of parents and teachers all over the English-speaking world. The word bane means the cause of great annoyance or distress, which, let's face it, causing distress and annoyance in our parents is one of the greatest pleasures when you are a kid. There were many others, such as, "Why do kids say skibbity?" and "Why do kids say riz?" Apparently, many Americans spent much of the year searching Google to try to understand the youth of today, and failing. And on that slightly lighter note, I'm going to wrap it up here. I hope that you've enjoyed this episode of Jackie Teaches English and that I've been able to give you a greater insight into the main themes, concerns, and questions for Americans in 2025. If you like what I do, please follow me so you don't miss an episode. And I would really appreciate it if you could take the time to leave a review. This helps me reach more people and grow my podcast. I wish you all the best for 2026, and I hope that you have an excellent start to the new year. Take care. Bye.